All right, today we are diving into a story that's, well, it's more than just a historical event. We're going to explore something really profound about the nature of truth, what it means to truly see, and the kind of courage it takes to speak up when the rest of the world has gone silent.
This question, it gets right to the heart of it all, doesn't it? It's this fascinating paradox that we have to wrestle with, that maybe, just maybe, true sight has absolutely nothing to do with our eyes. How is it possible for someone who can't see to perceive a reality that everyone else, with their eyes wide open, completely misses?
Because really, at its core, this isn't just a story about defiance. It's a powerful lesson in what you could call moral clarity. It's about a conviction so deep that it just blows past physical limitations and cuts right through that fog of collective fear.
Okay, so let's set the scene. I want you to picture this, the Great Mosque of Kufa. This should be a sacred space, right? The center of the community? But on this particular day, the air isn't filled with prayer. No, it's thick with tension and this heavy, suffocating fear. So you've got the governor, Ibn Ziyad, and he stands up in front of everybody. And after the horrific events at Karbala, he doesn't just deliver the news. Oh no, he boasts about it. He's standing there in a house of worship, and he proudly announces that he has killed the grandson of the prophet. It's just a shocking, brazen move designed to intimidate everyone into submission.
And the response from the crowd? Absolutely nothing. A silence so complete, so total, that it's practically screaming. And you gotta understand, this wasn't a silence of agreement. This was the sound of an entire city completely paralyzed by fear. Every single person in that mosque knew the danger of saying a single word, so they chose to see nothing and, more importantly, say nothing.
But then, in the middle of that deafening silence, something shifts. A single person starts to stir. An unexpected and probably very unwanted voice is about to break the spell of fear that has this whole city in its grip.
And the person who gets to his feet is the last person you'd ever expect. He's an old man. He stands up slowly, not with any kind of youthful energy. And here's the most remarkable part. He's blind in both eyes. By every physical measure, he's the weakest, most vulnerable person in that room. His name is Abdullah bin Afif al-Azdi. So this is it. This is the moment where everything changes. One man's conscience, his inner vision, is about to go head-to-head with the power of a tyrant. That silence, it's about to be shattered, and with it, the whole illusion that everyone was on board.
He says, "You kill the grandson of the prophet, and then you boast about it?" He calls out the governor directly, and then he delivers the knockout punch. "By Allah, you are the liar, and they are the lights of guidance." Wow. In a single sentence, he just completely flips the governor's narrative on its head, calling him a liar and the martyrs the true guides. You can just imagine the scene, right? A huge collective gasp just ripples through the mosque. The spell is broken, and immediately the soldiers start moving toward this old blind man. But does he flinch? Does he try to sit down or step back? Not a chance. He just stands his ground. He said what had to be said, and he knew exactly what it would cost him.
But his courage wasn't just for that one public moment. The story doesn't end there in the mosque, not by a long shot. His conviction gets put to the ultimate test later that night, in his own home, where his defiance turns out to be absolutely unbreakable.
So as the soldiers surround his house to arrest him, what he says to his daughter is it's an unbelievable display of resolve. "Place a sword in my hand, guide me to them." Get this, even without his sight, his first and only instinct is to fight, to defend his home, his honor. He's asking his daughter to be his eyes in battle.
And the last moments of his life were just a whirlwind. First, the siege, soldiers swarming his house. Then, the command. He calls for his sword, refusing to just give up. Then comes the fight. Impossibly, he fights back, with his daughter guiding his sword against the soldiers, but in the end he was simply overwhelmed, captured, and ultimately martyred for his defiance.
So what do we take away from this incredible story? What does the blind courage of Abdullah al-Azdi actually teach us about what it means to have true conviction?
Well, I think his life gives us this incredibly powerful definition of courage. It's not about not being afraid. It's about seeing a truth so clearly, so undeniably, that you have to act on it, especially when fear has made everyone else go quiet. It's about being that lone voice in a silent room. And this brings us right back to where we started, to that opening question. Abdullah al-Azdi might have lost his physical sight, but his moral vision, the sight of his heart, was crystal clear. And in the end, that was the only kind of vision that truly mattered. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. This story, it isn't just a piece of history. It's a mirror. It forces us to look at ourselves and ask, in our own lives, in our own time, what truths are we staying silent about simply because we're afraid? And who has the courage to see?